Okay, this is a very video about variables. So variables are a huge part of programming on your computer, and you'll use them all the time. If I said did something like this, so don't worry about all the aspects of the code at the minute. What I'm just highlighting here is this is a variable. So where you see something and an equals in Python, what I'm doing, I'm assigning whatever's on the right hand side to go into my variable. So variable is an allocated bit of memory. So when I write this, I can call it whatever I want, and it's going to put whatever's here inside that bit of memory. And then I could do things like I could print name out. If I run it, you can see it's outputted at the bottom. You can see it's outputted Dan because that's what's in my variable. Right? It doesn't matter what you call this, as long as when you reference it all the way through your code, it's the same. Okay, and you run it and it will work. If I said I spelt this wrong, it's going to error because it's going to try and output something. It's going to say it is not defined because the name, even capital letters, everything has got to be perfect. Otherwise, the code will break. If I do something like this, if I do that, when I now run my code again, the variable's changed. So that's why it's called a variable, because throughout your code, you can change what's in that piece of location in memory. So at the minute, it's called Dan. Then I change my horse to Steve. And then when I output what's inside that memory location, at that point, it's Steve. It was Dan, but then I overwrote Dan with Steve. So when it prints it out, you can see it prints Steve at the bottom. Right, so that's a variable. You can call them whatever you want. You'll commonly see them called like X and Y and things like that. Okay, like if I did here, if I change that to a Y, it's going to print out Dan because I've got now two different variables. In a variable called X, I've got the name Dan. Variable called Y, I've got the name Steve. If I print X, it's printing Dan. So because I'm not overwriting it there, I'm using a different variable. So that's variables, and it's an essential part of programming. You don't really make programs without it in the way that you're going to learn.